There is something inherently eerie about roads that stretch endlessly into the horizon, their asphalt ribbons cutting through desolate landscapes under the pale glow of moonlight. These are the arteries of America, connecting towns, cities, and forgotten places, but some carry more than just travelers. They bear the weight of history, tragedy, and the restless spirits of those who met untimely ends along their paths. Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the United States, where every mile marker tells a story, and every shadow hides a secret. In this third episode of Most Haunted Roads in America, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so spine-tingling they'll leave you questioning whether it's safe to roll down your windows, or even step out of your car. From winding mountain passes cloaked in mist to lonely desert highways under starless skies, these roads are more than mere routes. They are thresholds between worlds. Each one holds its own dark secrets, whispered through the hum of tires on pavement, the flicker of headlights catching glimpses of apparitions, and the inexplicable chill that seeps into your bones when you least expect it. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted roads across America, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of rural backroads, explore eerie stretches of highway cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned lanes teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step onto the haunted highways of America, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the next curve, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Devil's Highway stretching across the southwestern United States, Route 666 has earned its sinister nickname not only for its numerical resemblance to the number of the beast, but also for the countless chilling encounters reported by those who dare traverse its desolate expanse. Known colloquially as the Devil's Highway, this road winds through arid deserts, rugged mountains, and isolated towns, creating an atmosphere ripe for supernatural phenomena. Its haunting reputation is bolstered by decades of eerie sightings, unexplained accidents, and whispers of malevolent forces lurking just beyond the headlights. One of the most enduring legends tied to Route 666 involves a phantom hitchhiker known as the Lady in White. According to local folklore, she appears late at night, standing silently on the shoulder of the road, her flowing white gown illuminated by passing headlights. Drivers who stop to offer assistance report seeing her approach their vehicles, only for her to vanish without explanation once she reaches the passenger door. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through the car as though she briefly entered, while others describe hearing faint sobbing emanating from the backseat long after they've resumed driving. Witnesses often recount feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as if they narrowly avoided something far worse than an ordinary encounter. Another prominent figure in the road's haunted lore is believed to be a truck driver named Harold Graves, whose tragic fate has become synonymous with Route 660's cursed reputation. In the 1970s, Harold reportedly lost control of his semi-truck during a sudden storm, careening off the road and plunging into a ravine. Search parties found no trace of his body, fueling rumors that he had been claimed by vengeful spirits said to haunt the area. Modern-day travelers recount spotting a spectral big rig barreling down the highway at impossible speeds, its headlights blazing despite showing no signs of an actual vehicle. Those unlucky enough to pull over near the site of Harold's accident swear they can hear the screech of brakes and the deafening crash echoing through the canyon walls, as though the fatal incident replays itself endlessly. Route 666 is also infamous for its high rate of unexplained accidents, many attributed to what locals call shadow drivers. These mysterious figures appear suddenly in the rearview mirrors of unsuspecting motorists, their vehicles materializing out of thin air before vanishing just as abruptly. Drivers describe feeling an inexplicable urge to swerve or brake, often narrowly avoiding collisions with nothing at all. Paranormal investigators exploring the road have documented numerous instances of electromagnetic interference, EMI, spikes coinciding with reports of these shadow drivers, suggesting the presence of otherworldly entities manipulating the environment. One particularly unnerving account involved a family traveling at dusk who swore they saw a man in a black suit walking directly toward their car, his face obscured by darkness. Despite slamming on the brakes, they passed right through him, leaving behind only the acrid smell of burning rubber. Adding to the road's haunted allure are the countless tales of animals appearing and disappearing without explanation. Travelers frequently report seeing deer or coyotes darting across the road, only to vanish when headlights illuminate them fully. Others describe hearing the sound of hooves clattering against asphalt, reminiscent of horses from another era, accompanied by low murmurs in languages unfamiliar to modern ears. At night, when the road is bathed in moonlight, some visitors swear they can see translucent figures riding ghostly steeds, their forms dissolving into mist when directly observed. Paranormal investigators exploring Route 666 have captured compelling evidence of its supernatural activity. Thermal cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near specific landmarks, including abandoned gas stations and collapsed bridges. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like "help me" and "turn back," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at a crossroads before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Route 666 continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, traveling the road serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the tragedies committed in pursuit of progress. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Route 666 offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Clinton Road, New Jersey's ghostly thoroughfare nestled deep within the wooded hills of northern New Jersey lies Clinton Road, a narrow, twisting lane that cuts through dense forests and skirts serene lakes. To casual observers, it might appear picturesque, a quiet escape from urban sprawl, but beneath its tranquil veneer lurks a darker narrative steeped in legend, tragedy, and unrelenting supernatural activity. Dubbed New Jersey's most haunted road, Clinton Road has become infamous for its eerie encounters, ranging from ghostly apparitions to cryptic warnings etched in stone. One of the most pervasive legends tied to Clinton Road revolves around the ghost of a young boy named Jimmy, who drowned tragically in nearby Clinton Brook decades ago. According to local lore, Jimmy was playing near the water's edge when he slipped and fell into the rushing current, disappearing forever. Since then, visitors report seeing a small figure clad in tattered clothing wandering the roadside, seemingly searching for help. Some claim to hear faint cries calling out from the woods, while others describe feeling an inexplicable tug on their sleeves, as though a child is pleading for assistance. Perhaps the most chilling aspect of Jimmy's haunting is the recurring appearance of wet footprints leading away from the brook, only to vanish abruptly mid-path. Another prominent figure in the road's haunted lore is believed to be a witch who once lived in isolation near the area now known as Dead Man's Curve. Described as reclusive and malevolent, she allegedly cursed anyone foolish enough to trespass on her land, cursing them with misfortune or worse. Locals whisper of strange symbols carved into trees, believed to be remnants of ancient rituals conducted by the witch. Modern-day explorers recount eerie sensations while passing Dead Man's Curve, including sudden drops in temperature and the sensation of being watched. Some claim to see a shadowy figure perched atop a boulder overlooking the bend, her silhouette illuminated by moonlight before dissolving into thin air. Clinton Road is also notorious for its connection to the KKK, whose members were rumored to hold clandestine meetings along its secluded stretches during the early 20th century. Historical records indicate that several lynchings occurred in the surrounding woods, leaving behind a legacy of racial violence and hatred. Visitors exploring the area report hearing disembodied voices chanting hateful slogans, accompanied by the faint crackle of torches burning in the distance. One particularly disturbing account involves a group of teenagers who stumbled upon an abandoned clearing littered with rusted chains and charred wood, only to flee in terror as ghostly figures clad in white robes emerge from the trees, their faces obscured by pointed hoods. Adding to the road's haunted allure are the countless tales of phantom vehicles appearing and disappearing without explanation. Travelers frequently report seeing headlights approaching rapidly in their rearview mirrors, only for the vehicle to vanish entirely upon closer inspection. Others describe hearing the roar of engines echoing through the forest, accompanied by the squeal of tires skidding across gravel. At night, when the road is shrouded in fog, some visitors swear they can see translucent cars racing past, their occupants frozen in perpetual screams. Paranormal investigators exploring Clinton Road have captured compelling evidence of its supernatural activity. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including Dead Man's Curve and the banks of Clinton Brook. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near ancient trees bearing cryptic carvings. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Leave now," and "You shouldn't be here." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Clinton Road remains a popular destination for thrill-seekers and paranormal enthusiasts alike. Its combination of natural beauty and supernatural intrigue creates an atmosphere unlike any other, drawing visitors eager to test their courage against the unknown. For those brave enough to venture onto the road after dark, the promise of encountering Jimmy, the witch, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new traveler embarks on this ghostly thoroughfare, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past? Or will they become another chapter in its macabre legacy? Aokigahara Forest Road, shadows beneath the trees. While technically located in Japan, Aokigahara Forest Road has gained international notoriety as one of the most haunted roads in the world. A designation that transcends borders and cultures due to its harrowing association with suicide and supernatural phenomena. Nestled at the base of Mount Fuji, this dense woodland is crisscrossed by narrow dirt paths that twist and turn unpredictably, creating an oppressive atmosphere that feels almost sentient. The forest itself is eerily silent, devoid of birdsong or rustling leaves, as if nature itself recoils from the sorrow embedded within its soil. One of the most persistent legends tied to Aokigahara Forest Road involves the Yurei, vengeful spirits said to haunt those who enter the woods. According to Japanese folklore, these ethereal beings are trapped between worlds, unable to move on due to unresolved grievances or violent deaths. Visitors report seeing pale figures draped in white hovering among the trees, their hollow eyes fixed on intruders. Some claim to feel an icy hand gripping their shoulder, while others describe hearing faint whispers urging them to join us. Many believe these spirits are remnants of individuals who ended their lives within the forest, forever bound to the place of their final moments. Another prominent feature of the road's haunted lore is the prevalence of magnetic anomalies that disrupt GPS devices and compasses, leaving travelers disoriented and vulnerable. Stories abound of hikers wandering aimlessly for hours, only to find themselves circling back to the same spot repeatedly. Some speculate that these disturbances are caused by the forest's volcanic origins, while others attribute them to supernatural forces intent on trapping unwary souls. One particularly unnerving incident involved a group of tourists who swore they saw their reflections in a still pond, only to realize the images staring back at them belonged to strangers clad in funeral attire. Aokigahara Forest Road is also infamous for its role in Japan's ongoing mental health crisis, serving as a grim destination for those contemplating suicide. Local authorities regularly patrol the area, recovering bodies and removing personal belongings left behind as markers of despair. However, many believe that the spirits of these individuals remain, lingering in the shadows and preying on the minds of those who follow in their footsteps. Visitors recount feelings of overwhelming sadness and hopelessness, as though an invisible weight presses down on them, urging them to surrender. Some claim to see ghostly figures hanging from tree branches or lying motionless on the ground, their forms dissolving into mist when approached. Adding to the road's haunted allure are the countless tales of objects moving independently. Backpacks mysteriously vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. Footprints appear spontaneously in freshly fallen snow, leading nowhere or doubling back on themselves. One particularly chilling account involves a photographer who captured an image of a woman standing alone in a clearing, her face obscured by shadows. When he reviewed the photo later, he realized she was holding hands with a translucent child who hadn't been visible to the naked eye. Paranormal investigators exploring Aokigahara Forest Road have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near ancient trees bearing cryptic carvings. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of an abandoned cabin, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the forest's reputation as one of the world's most active haunted sites. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Aokigahara Forest Road continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the tragedies committed in pursuit of solace. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Aokigahara Forest Road offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Ortega Highway, echoes of tragedy in Southern California winding through the rugged hills of southern Orange County, California. Ortega Highway, State Route 74, is a scenic yet perilous stretch of road that has earned a chilling reputation as one of the state's most haunted thoroughfares. Connecting coastal communities to inland valleys, this two-lane highway snakes through dense chaparral, towering cliffs, and sweeping vistas, offering breathtaking views, but also concealing a dark history marked by tragedy, betrayal, and unrelenting sorrow. One of the most iconic legends tied to Ortega Highway involves a ghostly motorcyclist known simply as the Rider. According to local folklore, the Rider was a young man killed in a horrific crash decades ago, his life cut short by reckless driving and poor visibility. Since then, travelers report seeing a lone motorcycle speeding down the highway at impossible speeds, its headlight blazing despite showing no signs of an actual rider. Some claim to feel an inexplicable urge to swerve or brake, often narrowly avoiding collisions with nothing at all. Witnesses describe hearing the roar of an engine followed by the deafening crunch of metal impacting rock, as though the fatal accident replays itself endlessly. Another prominent figure in the road's haunted lore is believed to be Emily Carter, a young woman who vanished mysteriously while traveling home from Los Angeles in the 1950s. Her disappearance sparked widespread speculation, with theories ranging from abduction to foul play. Decades later, visitors exploring the highway report seeing a pale figure dressed in period clothing wandering the roadside, her hollow eyes fixed on some unseen point in the distance. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as she drifts by, while others report hearing soft sobbing emanating from vacant rest stops. Others describe seeing a vintage car parked precariously on the shoulder, its interior empty save for a scarf fluttering in the breeze. Ortega Highway is also infamous for its high rate of fatal accidents, many attributed to what locals call shadow drivers. These mysterious figures appear suddenly in the rearview mirrors of unsuspecting motorists, their vehicles materializing out of thin air before vanishing just as abruptly. Drivers describe feeling an inexplicable urge to swerve or brake, often narrowly avoiding collisions with nothing at all. Paranormal investigators exploring the road have documented numerous instances of electromagnetic interference, EMI, spikes coinciding with reports of these shadow drivers, suggesting the presence of otherworldly entities manipulating the environment. One particularly unnerving account involved a family traveling at dusk who swore they saw a man in a black suit walking directly toward their car, his face obscured by darkness. Despite slamming on the brakes, they passed right through him, leaving behind only the acrid smell of burning rubber. Adding to the road's haunted allure are the countless tales of animals appearing and disappearing without explanation. Travelers frequently report seeing deer or coyotes darting across the road, only to vanish when headlights illuminate them fully. Others describe hearing the sound of hooves clattering against asphalt, reminiscent of horses from another era, accompanied by low murmurs in languages unfamiliar to modern ears. At night, When the road is bathed in moonlight, some visitors swear they can see translucent figures riding ghostly steeds, their forms dissolving into mist when directly observed. Paranormal investigators exploring Ortega Highway have captured compelling evidence of its supernatural activity. Thermal cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near specific landmarks, including abandoned gas stations and collapsed bridges. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like "help me" and "turn back," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at a crossroads before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Ortega Highway continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, traveling the road serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the tragedies committed in pursuit of progress. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Ortega Highway offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Patterns across haunted roads, themes of loss and longing as we traverse the haunted landscapes of America's most notorious roads, from the desolate stretches of Route 666 to the winding curves of Clinton Road. Striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing echoes of lost loved ones to the shadowy figures lingering at crossroads, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of tragic accidents or the tormented souls of those who took their own lives, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of geography in amplifying paranormal activity. Remote roads, with their labyrinthine turns, thick foliage, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered along these routes, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: bends where fatal crashes occurred, bridges where jumpers met their end, or rest stops where travelers vanished without a trace. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing drivers to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted roads, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each road's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal realities of frontier justice embedded in the DNA of older routes contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted roads transform from mere asphalt into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each road boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. What is it about haunted roads that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These roads, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted roads exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, traveling a haunted road feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted roads contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted roads. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted roads become microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. As we bring this chilling journey through America's most haunted roads to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of America's haunted roads yourself. Walk the same paths where spirits are said to roam, stand in the spots where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken routes offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted roads, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.